It's a Friday night. Your phone has been silent all night. No texts, no plans, nobody coming over. And it doesn't bother you. People have a word for that. But they're wrong. Not broken, not antisocial, not a failure. For people like you, the brain just works differently. It's wired to make being around people feel draining, or empty, or just pointless. And there are real reasons for it. Real studies. Real wiring nobody ever explained to you. By the end, loner won't sound like you anymore. 1. A crowd costs your brain more than it costs everyone else's. You've left a party early and seen the look people give you, like something's wrong with you for wanting to leave. But in 2016, two researchers, Norman Lee and Satoshi Kanazawa, looked at what really makes people happy with their lives. 15,000 adults. And one thing was true across all of them. The more crowded the place someone lived, the less happy they were. Not because those people were weak, because of where we come from. For almost all of human history, your ancestors lived in small groups of a few dozen. Every face was known. A stranger was rare, and usually a danger. A room full of 100 strangers isn't what your brain was built for. So it stays a little tense the whole time. Some brains feel that tension more than others. So when the party drains you and the quiet apartment feels like relief, that's not you being broken. That's a brain built for a village of 30, doing its job in a city of millions. But draining you is the soft version. Sometimes people don't just tire you out, they push you out. 2. When people push you out, your brain treats it like a real injury. In 2003, a team of scientists put people into a brain scanner and had them play a simple game of catch, a ball thrown back and forth with two others on a screen. Then, halfway through, the other two just stopped. No ball, no reason. You're left standing there, watching them play without you. The moment they were left out, a part deep in the brain lit up, the same part that fires when you burn your hand on a stove. Social pain lights up some of the same parts of the brain as physical pain. It runs on the same wiring. So your brain doesn't file rejection under awkward. It files it right next to pain. Think about that. Your body never built a separate alarm for a broken heart. It borrowed the one for a broken bone. So the sting when someone pulls away isn't you being dramatic. It's the oldest warning you have, doing its job. So when you stop and think before letting someone in, that's not you being cold or broken. That's a bruise doing its job, keeping you away from the fire. The real question isn't why your circle is small. It's how small a circle is actually normal. 3. A truly close circle is small for all of us. A scientist named Robin Dunbar spent years counting the people in our lives. Around each of us sit rings of faces. The outer ring, the people you say hi to, the names in your phone, can reach 150. But the inner ring, the ones you'd actually call when something goes really wrong, is tiny. About 5. 5. That's it. Not just for the lonely, for everyone. The guy with 1,000 followers has the same 5. He's just standing in front of a bigger crowd. Watch him over a year and the same few faces keep coming back. The hundreds come and go like weather. The 5 stay. Everyone's real circle is small. Most people just never counted. So a small circle was never a sign that something is wrong with you. It's the size. A close circle is meant to be. You were just honest about who was really close. And a small circle quietly does one more thing. With fewer people around to tell you who you are, you start to build yourself from the inside. 4. Most people don't decide who they are. They read it from the room. Over 100 years ago, a man named Charles Cooley described how we build a sense of self. We watch how people react to us. A look, a laugh, a raised eyebrow, and we use their faces as a mirror. Whatever the mirror shows, we believe. He called it the looking glass self. You are who the room says you are. But a mirror needs a crowd. Take the crowd away, and most people don't know what they look like anymore. That's why being alone scares them, not the silence. The missing mirror. You learn to do it without one, to decide from the inside who you are. It's lonelier at the start, but what you end up with is yours, not a reflection that changes with every face in front of you. And you could only read the room that well because of one thing. You feel more than most people do. 5. You feel more, so the crowd costs you more. Back in the 90s, two researchers, Elaine and Arthur Aron, described how some people are built to take in more. They called it sensory processing sensitivity. About 1 in 5 people has it. Their brain doesn't just hear the words. It catches the tight smile behind them, the small change in someone's voice, the mood of the whole room, all at once. Picture a sponge. Everyone else walks through a loud party and gets a little wet. You walk through the same party and come out soaked. It's not weakness. You're picking up 10 signals where most people pick up 2. So of course the crowd wears you down faster. It's not that you can't handle people, it's that you're handling all of them at once. And when you're that full, there's only one thing that empties you out again: being alone. 6. Being alone isn't what's left when people leave. It's how you reset. For a long time, science treated time alone as a problem, a step down from a full life. Then researchers measured it. When people spent 15 minutes alone, something in them settled. The loud feelings, the excitement, but also the anger, the worry, got quieter. The volume in their head came down. But it only worked if the quiet was chosen. When people picked to be alone, it brought calm. When it was forced on them, the same silence brought loneliness. Same empty room. Chosen, it heals. Forced, it hurts. The whole difference was the choice. So the quiet you feel at home isn't you failing at life. It's your nervous system doing what it can't do in a crowd. Turning the volume back down. That's not you hiding from life. That's you taking care of the only nervous system you'll ever get. Which leaves one question you've probably been avoiding. Did you really choose this? Here's what nobody says out loud. For some of you, this was a choice. You tried the crowd and you liked the quiet more. That's real. But for some of you, it wasn't. Somewhere back there, someone taught you that people aren't safe. You didn't build a small circle. You built a wall. And you've been calling it a preference because that hurts less than calling it a scar. If that's you, the studies don't erase it. Feeling calmer alone doesn't mean the loneliness was never there. A wall keeps the cold out. It also keeps you in. You can be safe and stuck in the same spot and never feel the difference. The wall that keeps the pain out is the same wall that keeps the quiet from ever being a choice. And it doesn't have to stay a wall. The same quiet that protected you can become the quiet you choose. Being alone can go from something that happened to you to something you pick. So go back to that word. Loner. It was never about something broken. It was about a brain wired for smaller rooms and quieter nights. One that feels everything a little louder. One that needs to leave sooner than most. That's not a person who failed at making friends. That's a person built to do it differently. Your circle isn't empty. It's small on purpose, or it's slowly getting there. You don't owe anyone a bigger number. A life with a few real people in it was always enough. It just never made the noise the other kind does. So tonight, when the phone stays dark and no one's coming over, maybe nothing's wrong at all. Maybe you were never broken, just wired for a quieter kind of life.